I'm gonna be round my vegetables. I'm gonna chow down.
If only vegetarians use their mouths for shoving nuts and leaves into and nothing else. But they don't. They open them to proselytise and to threaten and to issue doomy warnings. Not, you'll note, to rhapsodise about the joys of a leguminous diet, but to berate those who don't or won't follow such a regime. Vegetarians do not espouse a gastronomic preference, but a cause. These nutheads wear a moralistic mask, a badge of aesthetic superiority. I'd have nothing, well, practically nothing, against these people if they suffered their disease in silence rather than try to infect everyone around them. If only they'd eat rather than preach.
Maybe in the next century, maybe not even in my lifetime, people will look on eating meat as killing human babies or things like that. It will be as abhorrent to them in future years as it is to me right now, or to most people when it comes to killing humans.
Who knows? I mean, if there's reincarnation, we might all come back as a pig or possibly, mind you, there are a lot of pigs around who are human beings, come to think of it, but might come back as a dog or a fly or something like that.
Maybe by me talking directly straight into the camera and out into people's living rooms, maybe I will influence some of you, even with my mental powers. Maybe after this program, you'll become a vegan.
Why should this country be so susceptible to vegetarian conversion? I suppose tolerance of nonconformity doubtless has something to do with it. But really, there's nothing more conformist than mass nonconformity. Most British converts are not Jains or Buddhists or Seventh-day Adventists, all of whom are at least consistent in their delusions of herbivorous holiness. The fact, however, that carnal proscriptions may be religiously founded does not make them any more acceptable.
I don't think you can be a true Christian and not be a vegetarian. It's just not possible, because if you read the teachings of the Master, he wasn't bringing this through this great message of love only to slaughter the animals with a knife hidden behind his back.
There are very few vegetarians in France or in Spain or in Italy, but then there wouldn't be. Those Catholic countries possess a vernacular culinary tradition. Food is not a peripheral frivolity in them. But here we lack consensus cooking, so to speak. We're thus prey to fads. Vegetarianism is one such fad.
There is a big change in this country towards food, and it will continue, but it's going to take a long, long time before they're on par with the French. They do not care about what they eat.
I think Anglo-Saxons in general aren't very interested in food, and therefore very happy not to enjoy their food, but to feel virtuous for what they don't eat, rather than take voluptuous pleasure in what they do eat.
There are, of course, countless delicious dishes that require no meat, no dairy products even. But they're not part of the vegetarian repertoire, which is invariably characterised by heaviness, blandness, insipidity, crudeness, clumsiness. It seems deliberately dreary. These people can't even do masochism with brio, and they're lousy hosts too. It's a truism that carnivores always accommodate the tastes of their vegetarian guests, but that vegetarians rarely have the courtesy to reciprocate.
You do find yourself in vegetarian company being given vegetarian food, and it's not too bad. You can get away with it. I don't think it's very good for you. I think it creates gases in the body, which probably aren't at all healthy, and not good for the environment either. But I put up with vegetarian food when it's there.
Personally, I won't sit at the same table with people eating meat, simply because I wouldn't sit at the table with someone beating their child or beating their wife or beating their husband. So why would I condone the kind of cruelty that's involved in the meat that arrives at the table?
I'm gonna keep well my vegetables, cart off and sell my vegetables. I love you most of all, my favorite vegetable.
Vegetarian food may have an ancestry in the annals of denial, but it has no gastronomic roots, so to speak. Hence the appalling combination which veggies appear to delight in. Carrot and cashew nut cheesecake, or carob and hazelnut crispy coconut-coated nut rissoles.
The main trouble with vegetarian cooking is that vegetarians, maybe from some nutritional deficiency, have a very sweet tooth. And the sweet tooth enters into everything that's meant to be savoury. So you might get lentil leek bake with banana and pineapple, or hazelnut crispy coconut coated nut rissole. That sort of thing. Delicious.
Who wants to leave a good leg of lamb just for a vegan meal? I mean, you have to be insane to do that.
The problem with vegetarian food here is we don't really have a tradition of eating vegetables in a special way. So vegetarians sit around thinking, oh, what shall I eat that's vegetarian? And all they can come up with is soya this or tofu that. They have to invent these totally ridiculous foods out of nowhere, which taste revolting.
Just as bad, though, is the veggie food that compensates for its meatlessness by forcing, say, bean curd or pulses or nuts to mimic meat, to pretend to be steak or sausages or whatever.
When you want people to change over from meat, and I mean, I'm aiming at the truck driver. I'm saying, look, forget that big chunks of flesh in there. I'll give you the same thing and you won't be able to taste the difference. See, we barbecue, and it's fun because we get these textured vegetable things, and they're just like hot dogs or sausages and burgers and steak and everything. And we've had people come to our barbecues who are vegetarian. Like
This is surely an admission of carnal envy. It's akin to the consumption of low-tar cigarettes or non-alcoholic lagers. It's so pitifully careful.
My favorite vegetable.
In the beginning, there was Pythagoras, who set up the first vegetarian community. They ate only honey, nuts, fruit and bread. They anticipated the current craze for colonic irrigation with herbal bowel cleansing. Pythagoras also encouraged his followers to live in caves and to chew hallucinatory plants for the sake of their psychic purity. Other famous veggies. Leonardo da Vinci claimed not to consume meat, although it has been suggested that during his dissections of human bodies, he had to fight off the urge to eat them. A more recently born-again turnip chewer was George Bernard Shaw, who, despite being appalled by the monotony of the diet, was parsimoniously delighted by how much money it saved him and how pleasant were his bodily functions.
If I were to eat meat, my evacuations would stink, and I should give myself up for dead.
As an organised movement, that is, as a sort of faith, vegetarianism began in the early 1800s with the Reverend William Cowherd, a fundamentalist Christian who tried to make Manchester follow the Pythagorean diet.